Welcome to the last few weeks of 2024. I know you're probably listening to this while wrapping presents, preparing for family visits, or maybe stealing a quiet moment between holiday festivities. Wherever you are, take a deep breath with me. This is your time to think about your relationship with money, not from a place of pressure, but from a place of possibility. The most powerful shifts in our financial lives often happen in these quiet moments of reflection. We give ourselves permission to imagine a different future. Today, we're going to explore how you can make that shift from viewing money through a lens of scarcity to one of abundance. And we're going to do it at a pace that feels right for this busy season. So we're skipping the usual intro and flashy visuals. Instead, you can listen to this episode with your eyes closed or with a blank sheet of paper or a note on your app. If you happen to be driving right now, though, don't close your eyes, but let the rhythm of the road bring you into the moment. Or maybe delay this episode for another time if you're dealing with road rage right now. You ready to jump in? Here we go. We're going to be talking first about 3 money mindset traps that keep people stuck in scarcity. You done with feeling stuck in scarcity? Well, these are 3 money mindset traps that you need to figure out how to get out of. First of all, you know that feeling when you finally reach a financial goal and instead of lasting joy, you find yourself already focused on the next target? That's what we call the never enough loop, and it's especially intense during the holiday season. Think about your first job. Remember that number you thought would make everything perfect? Maybe it was $50,000 a year, or $75,000 a year, whatever number. When you reached it, how long did that feeling of, I made it, last? A month, a week? Now you're at a number that your younger self could probably not even imagine, whatever your number is, right? But somehow it still doesn't feel like enough. And if you're listening, I just did air quotes for enough. Here's what's fascinating. This isn't about numbers at all. When we blame inflation or rising costs, we're missing something really crucial. Our relationship with enough isn't actually about the amount. It's about our perspective. What if you could feel like you have enough no matter what your bank account says? Now, this feeling becomes particularly poignant during December. Parents lying awake, wondering if they've bought enough presents to create magical memories. Homeowners scrutinize their holiday decorations, wondering if they measure up to the neighbors. Adult children juggle their busy schedules, trying to squeeze in enough quality time with aging parents, acutely aware that these moments are precious and finite. In a season meant for joy and gratitude, we find ourselves caught in an exhausting spiral of more, more, more. Then there's the social dimension. I call it the holiday comparisonitis. And trust me, it spreads faster than any winter flu. We're feeling pretty good about our year until we see a coworker's designer outfit at the holiday party or hear about someone's exotic vacation plans. Suddenly, our own achievements feel somehow smaller. Traditional budgeting often actually becomes another way we tell ourselves we don't have enough. Think about it. Most budgets start by looking at your income, then subtracting all of your must-haves. And by the time you get to the bottom, you're just staring at whatever's left, if anything, with a sense of limitation. Every dollar is assigned a job before it arrives, creating a sensation of scarcity before you've even begun. This traditional approach trains us to see money as something that's always running out, always needing to be restricted. It's like starting every month with a diet mentality, focusing on what you can't have rather than what's possible. The very language of traditional budgeting, cutting back, tightening the belt, trimming expenses, reinforces a mindset of limitation and restriction. And here's what's fascinating. When we approach money from this restriction mindset, we often end up in one of 2 places. Either feeling guilty about every purchase, even the necessary ones, or rebelling against the budget entirely. It's like being told not to think about pink elephants. Suddenly, that's all you can think about. Instead of this restriction-based approach, what if we flipped the script? What if, like the profit first method, when it's used for business, on the personal side, we also started setting money aside for growth and joy first? What if we viewed our budget not as a cage that traps us, but as a tool that helps us direct our money toward what truly matters to us? Now, this shift happens when we start seeing budgeting as a way to restrict what we can't have, and we start seeing it as a way to intentionally create what we want. It's the difference between I can only spend X and I choose to direct my money toward Y. You feel the difference there? I can only spend X, or I choose to direct my money toward Y. So there we go. There's the first, knocking down these traps, trying to get out of them, these money mindset traps with the never enough loop. Before we explore how to keep making the shift and make it permanent, let's look at two other mindset traps that often keep us stuck in scarcity thinking. The second one here is something we've all experienced, but rarely discuss openly. And it's that subtle ache when someone else shares their financial win. Maybe it's a friend's post about their new home, a colleague's promotion, or a family member's dream vacation. Even though we genuinely want to be happy for them, there's that whispered question in our minds, why not me? Now, social media has turned this human tendency into an art form. Every day, if you scroll through carefully curated highlights of other people's financial successes. Their new car bows, their house keys, their promotion announcements, their my side hustle just hit 6 figures post, all of that. But here's what's fascinating. When you scroll, you're comparing your behind the scenes footage to someone else's highlight reel. We see their moment of triumph, but miss the years of student loan payments, the failed attempts, the sleepless nights of worries, all the things they had to go through to get to that moment of triumph. This gets especially complex with families. Maybe you have a sibling who always seems to be one step ahead financially, or perhaps you are the successful one and you feel the weight of others' expectations and comparisons. During the holidays, these dynamics intensify. Financial disparities become visible in gift giving, travel plans, and even in casual conversation about the upcoming year and what y'all have planned. What should be a joyful family gathering can often become unspoken competitions where nobody wins. Who wants to compete when nobody wins? So here's what many don't realize. This kind of comparison thinking extracts a heavy toll, what I call the abundance tax. Every moment spent measuring our financial journey against someone else's journey is a moment we're not fully present in our own story. It's energy diverted from our own growth, creativity, and opportunities. When we're caught up in comparing, we often miss the very opportunities that can move us forward. So the truth is, financial success is not a pie with limited slices. I know, hopefully you're eating some pumpkin pie, some pecan pie, some whatever pie you're eating. Financial success is not that kind of pie. Someone else's wealth doesn't diminish your potential for abundance. In fact, when we can genuinely celebrate others' successes, we're actually programming our minds to expect and welcome greater abundance in our own lives. Did you catch what I just said? If you want more abundance in your life, you're programming your mind to expect that and welcome it when you celebrate other people's abundance and awesome things that happens to them. The key to breaking free from any kind of comparison trap isn't to avoid seeing other successes. That's nearly impossible in our connected world. Instead, it's about reframing how you respond to it. What if each time you encountered someone else's financial win, you saw it as proof of what's possible? What if instead of thinking, why them and not me, we asked, what can I learn from their journey to help, me on my own? When we make this shift, something remarkable happens. Other people's successes transform from threats into inspiration. Their win becomes evidence that our goals are achievable. And often, when we approach others' success with genuine curiosity rather than comparison, we find they're usually happy to share their insights and lessons learned. And we all win from that, right? We get to celebrate together and all learn together and grow together. So we got the never enough loop. We've got the someone else's success means my failure belief. That's not true. And now we've got the third one. There's this story our culture tells us. It's a story so pervasive that many rarely question it. It whispers that our bank balance somehow reflects our value as a person, that our net worth equals our self-worth. And during the holiday season, when spending and giving are center stage, this myth can feel especially crushing. Think about the language we use around money and success. We call people high net worth individuals, as if that's their defining characteristic. We describe smart money moves as being worth it, and poor ones as worthless. Even our holiday traditions often revolve around proving our love through spending. This message is subtle but constant. Your value is measured by your monetary value. Oh, that makes me sick just thinking about it. But pause for a second and think about the most meaningful moments in your life. The times you felt most alive, most valuable, most yourself. Were any of them about the number in your bank account? When we think about the people we admire most, whether historical figures or people in our own lives that you look up to and, are role models to you, is it their wealth that you remember? Or their character, their impact, their presence, how nice they are, the difference they make in the world, those kinds of things? Here's what's fascinating. Money is simply a tool, like a hammer or a paintbrush. We wouldn't judge an artist's worth by how many paintbrushes they own, right? Or we wouldn't judge a builder's value by the size of their toolbox or how many hammers they have. Or if they have a golden hammer versus a hammer made of steel. I don't know. Yet somehow we expect this idea that our bank account balance is a reflection of our personal value. This belief becomes particularly painful during the holiday season. We feel pressure to prove ourselves through expensive gifts, to demonstrate our success through elaborate celebrations, to somehow quantify our relationships into dollars and cents. But think about your most cherished holiday memories. Are they about the price tags or about the presence of those you love? Right? It's not the gift, it's the thought behind it, right? The time, the energy, the love behind the gift. When we begin to separate our net worth from our self-worth, something remarkable happens. We can make clearer financial decisions because they're no longer tangled up with our sense of self. We can celebrate financial wins without letting them inflate our ego, and we can face financial setbacks without them crushing our spirits. This separation starts with small shifts in how we talk to ourselves about money. Instead of, I'm bad with money, we can say, I'm learning to manage money better. Instead of, I'm a failure because I'm in debt, we can say, I have debt and I'm taking steps to address it. The situation may be the same, but our relationship with our situation transforms. Money is important. I'd never suggest otherwise. It's important the same way like oxygen's important. You need it to live, at least in today's society. But having more oxygen doesn't make you a better person, and having less doesn't make you more valuable. Your worth as a human being is inherent, unchangeable, and completely separate from your financial situation. So there we go. We've explored these three mindset traps: the never enough loop, the comparison trap, and the money equals worth myth. Now, I need to clear something up. I've been using this word abundance a lot. And you might be thinking, I've tried positive thinking before, all this abundance, if you believe it, you can achieve it. That's kind of mumbo jumbo. I want to be clear. I'm not talking about just positive thinking. It's about positive mindset shifts that create real financial change. Let me share a story that's kind of a composite of typical client stories rather than just one person's story, because confidentiality is important to me. So it's not one person. It's kind of a composite of the types of situations I find a lot of people in. And we oftentimes just use Sarah as a holder name for who this person is, kind of like a Jane Doe, but in this case, Sarah Doe. Sarah was making 6 figures, but lived paycheck to paycheck. Why? Her scarcity mindset had her hoarding money in volatile accounts while simultaneously spending on security purchases, things she bought just to feel financially secure. And after working with us, she defined financial security and financial freedom a little differently, which led her to do some different things with her money. And she's never slept better. So I'm going to break down the exact kind of steps that she took. I've got 3 changes with 2 examples of each change. The first change was those small mindset shifts that lead to big, real changes. She started asking herself, what am I creating? Instead of, what can I afford? The simple change in internal dialogue opens up all kinds of possibilities she hadn't seen before. She replaced the phrase, I should, with I choose to. So instead of I should save more, she'd say, I choose to build my emergency fund because it helps me sleep better at night. So that's the first thing, those small mindset shifts that led to some pretty big changes. The second one is some practical steps that she actually took. She started using our proprietary STILL method to get clear on her goals and what actions she could take to achieve her unique definition of financial freedom. She implemented the bank on yourself concept to solve multiple financial challenges at once while still boosting her financial discipline and access. Very practical things using the STILL method and bank on yourself. And then the third change was that she had some unexpected benefits beyond finances. She wasn't just looking at the money to see the change. She's looking at some other things. For instance, her dialogue with others around money has changed. She's more careful of the mindset she's instilling in her children. She doesn't let her parents' financial expectations get under her skin any longer. And she's also discovered that she's had more energy for creative projects. All that mental space that used to be occupied by money anxiety, it's freed up for all kinds of other things. She's gotten back into the hobbies she used to love. She's even started dreaming of starting a business one day. What I love about so many of our client stories, like this, Sarah one that I kind of put together, is that they don't suddenly win the lottery or get a massive raise or, money just doesn't appear out of nowhere for them. They change their relationship with money that they already have, and that change ripples out into every area of their lives. So as we wrap up today, remember that this journey from scarcity to abundance isn't a race. Right? Nobody needs to snap their fingers and you have abundance tomorrow. Don't need that. It's also, you're shortcutting yourself then because you're not going to learn and grow as much if it just lands in your lap. This is also not as woo-woo as some make it out to be. It's about a gentle awakening to new possibilities. So if I'm going to give you some homework this holiday season, it's this, and it's quite simple. Notice a moment each day or every other day, but notice those moments where you could choose abundance thinking over scarcity. Just look for those moments and then maybe make that choice of abundance over scarcity. That's how we begin to write a new money story for 2025. And that's what we're going to be doing this month on the podcast. So make sure you hit subscribe. Don't miss an episode. To go with this episode within the Wealth Wisdom Financial community, we have a year-end money mindset audit workbook where I went through 3 kind of money mindset things today. We are talking about more in that workbook, as well as giving some ways that you can see where do I have that scarcity thinking and how is it showing up in my life right now? And then next episode, we're going to be talking about some practical year-end money moves that work well with your financial psychology rather than against it. The best way to get the most out of our podcast this month and through all these materials that we're putting together is to join the Wealth Wisdom Financial community. We have a free version where we've got lots of great stuff, mostly about mindset. And then we also have a paid version. We've just updated what that paid version looks like. We now have an annual option where you can join for the low rate of $97 for the whole year. We're going to put a link to where you can do that in the show notes. It's wealthwisdomfp.com/community. And we know that probably even in this first month, you're going to get at least $97 of value. But we want to really, we're having that abundance mindset for 2025 going forward. And we really want to impact people's lives, see some really cool things going forward, no matter what happens in the year to come. There's a lot of uncertainty still about what might happen in 2025 and beyond. We want to be that steady place that you can come back to and keep that abundance mindset, grow that abundance mindset, and make some really good moves going into 2025 to set yourself up for whatever the future has, that you can experience more freedom, more sanity, and sleep better and better at night. So join the community. Again, it's wealthwisdomfp.com/community. Again, you can join for free, or you can upgrade to the premium membership for just $97 for the whole year. That's all I have to say for today. I'm looking forward to this kind of season of episodes. It's going to be you and me doing these kinds of more meditative, thoughtful types of episodes. So tune in. I hope to see you at the next one. Have a happy holidays. If you're listening to this in real time, if it's past the holidays, I hope you have a happy season, whatever season you're in. May you live long and profit. The topics presented in this podcast are for general information only and not for the purposes of providing legal, accounting, or investment advice on such matters. Please consult a professional who knows your specific situation.